By far the number one question we get from everyone is, should you buy an established property or actually do it properly and go through the land and build process? Let me go through that with you really quickly now. So it starts over here with the expression of interest. That's a one-page document. It's got your details, it's got the property details, it's got your solicitor's details on there. Essentially, that's like the trigger for the land contracts to be struck and the build contracts to be struck. You then enter basically your 6 weeks safe zone, whereby you do your contract and finance. You'll eventually get to the point though whereby your finance is approved and you have to notify your solicitor that the contracts are now unconditional. Very, very important step. You can see that that arrow there is a lot thicker than the rest of the arrows. Essentially, once you step over that black arrow, once you go unconditional on your contracts, there's no backing out from there. So it's super important. Respect that 6 week safe zone, step over it properly, get the right advice from your broker and your solicitor. If your block of land's then registered, you'll effectively sign the mortgage documents within 2 weeks, got to get a JP to witness those mortgage documents, and then you settle on the land. So say we've got a $500,000 property. At land settlement, your deposit and costs will go out the door. That might be your 10% deposit, your 20% deposit. Stamp duty and legal fees will also be paid there. Developer who owns the block of land gets his money never to be seen again. And the rest of the $250,000 or so sits in what's called your construction fund. Let me go through that with you real quick now. As soon as you settle on the land, the builder's on a hair trigger to then release the building and council approvals and plans and specs to the local government authority there to make sure that you as the owner of the land can now get that building and council approvals come through. And then there's 6 steps of a property whereby they turn that block of dirt into a big beautiful investment property or your own home. These are actually real-time photos of one of my properties that I built a couple of years ago. Building deposit goes down, the slab or the base occurs, frame goes up, enclosed or lock up, which is effectively the roof and the walls. They do all the internal fixtures and fittings and then the practical completion towards the back end here. Now the reason why I've got a couple of percentages down the bottom that's going to be as per your build contract. Here's the thing, once you settle on the land, remember you only pay stamp duty on the land, not the whole amount of stamp duty. You do start paying interest on your loan until you can find tenants over here. So the time's ticking. This is where we really come into our own from a military, experience perspective, a lot of concurrent activity, high levels of communication going on. We want to have the time between you settle on the land and when you find tenants as short as possible because you're already paying interest on that loan. Effectively, as each of the stages of the build occurs, the bank releases funds to the builder. So therefore your interest repayments are going to go up and up. Importantly, the builder goes and does the work. So for instance, they go and pour the slab. You're then provided photos, engineering reports, council reports that the slab has now been poured properly. The water's in, the electricity's in, the sewage is in, the foundations of the house is ready to go. You're then provided evidence for that. You then sign an invoice, say it's $34,000 for the slab to be poured. You sign an invoice, send it to the bank. The bank then releases those funds to the builder, and then it sort of goes on from there. So it's really important. You're in control. We manage risk as far as that goes, so you know exactly what's going on, but you're not really responsible for doing anything. Really important, about halfway through the build, we introduce you to the rental manager. We want to make sure you've got an ongoing relationship with that rental manager to make sure that as soon as the keys are handed over, you have tenants being sought as soon as possible. Building and landlord's insurance policies get done, building inspections get done, bank does evaluation, keys get handed over, tenants move in, your depreciation report gets done. That's how it all happens. For a single story house, it's about 16 weeks. For a double story house, it's about 20 weeks. Remember, there's 2 main reasons why you go through the land and build. Reduce the risk, maximize the cash flow, and that's how it all happens.